Hello everybody! In this video I will help you with your June exam preparation. I will also discuss the 2021 paper question 4 and the topic is sequences and series. As I have already told you that from the CAPS document you can clearly see that patterns will count more or less 25 out of the 150, which is 17% of your paper is on sequences and series. Now you will see that this question is all about a linear sequence and sigma notation. Now this is the question. I suggest you pause the video and quickly do the question, and then you can have a look at the explanation. Here's a tip for you. Remember, if the question counts 10 marks, then you should not spend more than 10 minutes answering the question during the exam. On question 4.1, consider the linear pattern, and then they give you the pattern, and then find term 51, the value of term 51. So first of all, a linear pattern is exactly the same as an arithmetic sequence, and my advice to you is to start with finding D. D is T2 minus T1, which is 7 minus 5. It gives you 2. And then 5 is your A value, the first term in your sequence. And then what is N? N is 51. We are going to find what? We are going to find Tn, the value of T51. Into the formula, you find the formula on the formula sheet, and then substitute all the values. Your A is 5, your N is 51, your D is 2. Again, my advice to you, use plenty of brackets when you substitute. And then when you multiply everything out with your calculator, the answer is the value of the 51st term is 105. So where are the 3 marks? The 3 marks are D's value, substitution into the correct formula, and then final answer. There's your 3 marks. On number 4.2, they want us to calculate the sum of the first 51 terms. We know by now that this was a linear sequence, in other words, arithmetic sequence, and A is the first term, and D we worked out 7 minus 5 was 2. Again, what do they want from us? They want N, the sum of 51 terms, and S 51. This is what they are looking for. So into the correct formula, there's your formula, the SN formula, and when you do your substitution, there's your substitution. N 51, your A value is 5, your N is 51, your D value is 2, and then there's your final answer. The sum of 51 terms will be 2805. And where's the marks? The marks are 2 marks, 1 for substitution into the correct formula, and then your second mark is for the answer. On number 4.3, they want us to write down the expansion of the sigma notation, and we have to show only the first 3 terms and the last term. So how does this work? There on your sigma notation, the number that you find at the bottom, that is where you're going to start with your substitution into your expression. And where are you going to end? You are going to end with the number on top. So when you do the substitution, can you see I substituted 1, 2, 3, and only the first 3, and then the last one. This is the last one. This 5,000 I found on top. and then it forms a little series, 5, 7, 9, and 10,003. This is worth 1 mark for you. Here on 4.4, hence or otherwise calculate, and then they give you this thing. Don't be scared. All of this means it's the sum of 5,000 terms plus the sum of 4,999 terms with that general sequence. So let's take this one step at a time. Do you agree on this one? That was the previous sum. We worked out what the series was. And then this 10,003, this is also called the last term. So you have the value for the last term. So you've got a formula, this one living on the formula sheet, where L is the last term. And what is N? N is how many terms? It's 5,000. So when you substitute all of this in, you find that the sum of 5,000 terms will be equal to that. Then on the next part of your sum, this is now the sigma of that one. Again, you have to generate a little series for yourself. How do you do that? You start with n being 1 and you substitute it in there. Then you take 2 and you substitute it in there. And then you take 3, etc., etc., up to your last term will be that, where you substitute in n's place the 4,999. And then when you work it all out with your calculator, you find a little series there. And then minus 3 is your A value into your SN formula. Again, L is the value of the last term, which is that. N, what is N? How many? It's 4,999. Substitute everything into the formula. A is minus 3, and you find that the sum of 4,999 terms will be equal to that. So this is your sum. This is what they want from you. There, it's the one sigma plus the other sigma. There you go. There's that sigma plus that sigma. Whoa, why is there a negative? Don't be scared. It should be this plus. But remember, this value is negative. This is why this is a negative. And then when you subtract the 2, your answer is 20,000. Where's the marks? The marks are finding the sum of the 5,000 terms, finding A's value, minus 3, finding the value of the sum of 4,999, and then final answer for adding the 2, or in fact subtracting the 2 values there. Here you will see that I also added the playlist on sequences and series if you need some more practice there. And then there's also a video and a playlist from the grade 11 syllabus, quadratic sequences. And then I have also added the next lesson. So if you want to go to question 5, click on the video in the left hand corner to take you there.